Hi, my name is John Collins, and I'm a psychic medium for One More Time. And this is kind of an interview thing. I have Jody here with me, and she's going to read me some questions just to say a little bit about myself. So,
What was your first experience?
my first experience as a psychic medium, one of my first times ever working with my abilities or discovering my gifts, would be in junior high. I was in this class. As far as I can remember, it was a study school, like home period, homework hour, and I kept in this hour. It was just this class where I would constantly go through just a roller coaster of emotions all the time. I would constantly jump from being depressed to being overly excited to being scared to, just going crazy in emotional, ride. And for the longest time, I thought I was just going crazy. I thought I had like some early form of like bipolarism or something like that. And then I started hearing this male voice go, "Look up, look up." Because, most kids, when they get horribly depressed, they want to just lay down on the desk and, do whatever. So I looked up, like, I don't know what is going on. And the voice said, "Look left." And I looked left and I saw this girl who was basically in the same, sitting position I was. Her head was down in her desk and she looked depressed and horribly sad. She looked like the same thing that I was going through. And I just, for the longest time, I couldn't figure it out. And I didn't do anything about it. But it was a few days later, I heard the voice again. "Look up, look left." And I did that, and the girl was looking right at me. And there was tears in her eyes. And so, and I'm a kid. I'm not sure what to do with this. And, I was an awkward child, wasn't the most social back then. Now I'm a social butterfly. But I finally got up the courage to go up to her and ask her what's wrong. And it took a while. She wouldn't tell me what was going on. And she finally admitted to me that her dad beats her every night. And she had a very abusive father. And I'm just kind of blown away at this point. Like, never really had to deal with this situation, not sure what's going on. I mean, I had my own family problems, but nothing as severe as what she told me. So the only thing I could think of was go tell a teacher. So I convinced her to come with me. We talked to the school teacher, or the class teacher that we had, and all in all, the teacher, talked to the counselors. Everything worked out. Um, from what I heard from her, she was removed from her father home situation. She went to live with her mom, and we're still in contact. And today she's in college to become a lawyer, to help with child services, and to make sure that nothing, stuff like that doesn't happen anymore.
Oh, awesome.
So that was my first experience in dealing with that. And what led from that was basically speaking, learning how to speak with my guide. I come to find out that that was my primary spirit guide, and ever since then, that's basically been my work, is working with the spirit guide and getting all of those messages through him, and doing all of that. So yeah,
How many years have you been a psychic medium?
I have been a psychic medium since, I believe, uh, uh, I wrote it down. What does that say? I can't remember. Oh, good. 15 years now to today, and like I said, it's 15 years is way too many memories to put into one video. But in a nutshell, it's basically just been kind of like a controller with a game, sort of thing, where the spirit guides, they say you got to do this or you got to say this to this person. You barely even know them, but you're gonna say it. So it's kind of like one of those things, and it's basically channeling. And if you talk with other psychics, they'll call it channeling. So it's one of those things. So yeah, 15 years now, and I ramble. Sorry.
And what do you see?
What do I see? Basically, whenever I'm in a reading, whenever I'm working with spirit guides, or whenever I see spirits, loved ones who've crossed over, or just spirits who are lost in this plane, um, it's more of a mental focus. For the most part, I get signs and symbols. I'll see words everywhere, or it'll literally pop into my mind like a movie screen, and I will see the visual of that spirit, see the visual of that guide, and then most often it's literally like you have your mental voice, that you think privately with yourself, thinking inside your own mind. But then I'll hear a second voice that's not my own voice, and that often is the spirit guide speaking with me if I'm not actually seeing them. I've never had a real, like, for sure physical manifestation of spirits or ghosts or anything like that, but for the most part, it's the mental focus. The technical term is clairsentience, where it's all mental work. So that's been pretty much the method that I work from, yeah.
Okay. And what else do you do?
Well, amongst the being a psychic medium and doing that mediumship work, I am a Reiki master teacher. Jody Marvin, my dear friend, who I work with one more time, she attuned me to Reiki, and she taught me many different symbols, many different methods with Reiki. Very enjoyable. I do healing sessions with Reiki, but I also am able to attune to each level of Reiki. I am also a meditational guide, so if you are needing a guided meditation, I can take you on those different retreats. It can either be at your house or it can be in some setting of your choosing. But when I take you on a meditation, I definitely use a lot of psychological factors, a lot of visual work, a lot of symbolic work, so that I can really take you deep into the psyche of your mind. That I believe is where most of the real healing, if need be, or the discovery of secrets of your life that you didn't even know were there.
Oh, yes.
That's where all that, I believe, comes out. So I've been doing meditational guide work for several years now, at least a decade, and I've done a lot of research, and I've read a lot of different meditation guidelines and things like that. So for the most part, I've taught a few classes now with full groups of people, and they, as far as I know, they love the success of those meditation groups. So I also have that available for you. Also, something I don't usually do all the time, but if need be, I do home and space clearing, either clearing away the negative energies that build up in our homes if our house is not made energetically sound, or if there are ghosts that are trapped in our plane, I do clear away those from the home dwelling. Most ghost investigators don't appreciate me coming on their tours or going through houses, because my natural energy is to clear out that, trapped soul, to get them to cross over. So whenever I walk into a place, suddenly the activity just stops.
Yes.
So I definitely, whenever I go to a home, please know that if you want that house cleared, be sure that you want it cleared, not just to document activity to have some proof, because it'll disappear. So it'll cross over, I guarantee that. So yeah.
And what should people expect?
When you come to a reading with me, either to speak to a relative who's passed, or to, see what's coming for your future, or to find some answer to a question, definitely expect, something with a lot of emotion connected to it. A lot of times we try to ignore all the things that we're feeling because, some things in life are not going to be easy. They're not going to be, happy joy and, all the time fun. So if there is something, that's psychologically blocking you, if there's something that's preventing you from receiving the universal gifts that you are deserved, my guides and your guides are going to work in collaboration to bring that out. So a lot of times there will be emotional issues that will come up. Bring some tissues. That happens a lot. I get a lot of crying, and that's fine. If that's a release that has to happen. You go so long without getting that release. You got to have that. So, but definitely, a lot of honest, detailed truth, where it's like, you can lie to yourself, you can lie to others, but your guides know you all the time. Your relatives who follow you around your house, they know you all the time. They know your secrets. So, yes, you can have that shocked look face when I say something that, everyone would never know about you. But it's one of those things where it's like, when you come to a reading with me, expect the truth. The truth that you've tried to hide, either from yourself or from others, it's going to come out because it has to be dealt with. Excuse me. But just know that it's all so that you can stay on your path, so that the universe can put you in the right place so that you can receive happiness in your life, that you can receive joy and blessings that you need and deserve. So, yeah.
Great. And tell us about your most memorable experience.
My most memorable experience, I was doing a group gallery reading like John Edwards or Sylvia Browne, things like that, and it was in Peoria. And one of my dear friends today, who Jody and I both work with, her name is Buddha, and she's the owner with Barb over Indigo on Prospect Street. All rights reserved if she has any or anything like that. Ha, laugh out loud. My most memorable experience is when I first got to meet her. I went to a gallery style reading that she was hosting, and she was literally, outside the audience. She was just making sure everyone was okay and that, it was all set up right, and everyone was comfortable and there was drinks ready during intermission or whatever. She was just running the whole thing, and all of a sudden, the voices, the guides, the spirits, they all stopped. And I just suddenly, my neck uncontrollably just turned and I stared her down across the room. And she just immediately looked at me and I could see it in her face. She's like, don't you dare, don't you dare, don't you dare, don't you dare. And I immediately just opened my mouth and I said, you are psychic. And Spirit totally had me out her into the psychic community. She is packed full of ability, and she had just been resisting it for years. And my most memorable experience is when my guides forced me to out her. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know her, so I was scared. She was like gonna freak out on me, but because we're in front of a crowd. But it all worked out for the best. We're best friends today, so I definitely treasure that memory most of all in all of my readings. So.
Okay, and why do you do readings for the public?
Why do I do readings? Well, the main thing that I thought of was I don't have a choice. I've tried for many years to find different ways to ignore the ghosts, to ignore my spirit guides, just because I want to live my life. I'm 24 years old. I'm still practically in my teens, and I want to enjoy my life. And sometimes when you have a bunch of dead people following you around, it's really depressing. So, but I basically, when I say I don't have a choice, is if I don't communicate with them, if I don't acknowledge them, if I don't go and do what Spirit tells me to do when someone's in help or in need, or when this thing has to happen for that reason, for whatever divine, reasoning there may be, it creates this stuck feeling in me. It's like this overwhelming sadness that I just can't break. I can do all the Reiki I want. I can do all the energy clearing and all the different things that I know how to. But it's not going to go away until I say that one thing to that one person that they need to hear. That their grandmother twice removed from some family that she used to share cookies with wants to say to her. Unless I say that, I'm going to be stuck in this blah mode.
Oh, yes.
So that's definitely, one of the main things is I don't have a choice. It's what I'm meant to do. I was given this gift, and, I have to make sure that everyone else that I receive a message for receives it. And, to see the look on their face when they receive that final word that they have been waiting for. It's why we call the website and what we do one more time. They've heard from their relatives one more time. They've heard from their best friend, who died in a car crash one more time. I have to do that. I have to deliver that message, because if I don't, that person's going to go their whole life never knowing truly, never having that closing moment of goodbye. And, it's my responsibility. It's my divine calling to do so. So, yeah. All right. So my name's John Collins, and I am available for readings along with Jody Marvin. We are One More Time. Thank you.